Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and today you chose to watch a video titled The Most YOLO Move in Street Fighter V. So you're probably expecting this. These moves are YOLO, right? But what I had in mind is something a lot more sinister. But first, it's story time. Let's say that you just came back from work or school, whatever you do. You thought, alright, maybe Facebook is down, WhatsApp's down, I can't really do much at home anyways. Let me actually play Street Fighter V. So you boot up Street Fighter V, and here you are looking at the game while it's logging into the game server, and you start having hopes towards the future. Maybe today is the day I will finally learn how to TP as an anti-air. Maybe it's the day that I will finally get that combo. I've been in this rank forever, so maybe today is the day. It's gonna be my lucky day. It's been a good day so far, right? No more social media, no more annoyance. Let's buckle down and get through with this. And then you keep staring at the screen while it's logging into the game server, and you start to question, are you actually playing Street Fighter V, or is this Guilty Gear Strive in disguise? But you try to keep your composure. We're finally in, right? It's finally logging into the game server. You keep staring at the black screen. You thought you were done, but you're not, right? You have to wait a little bit more as the game is loading, because Street Fighter V is fabulous. But here we go. We finally got into the game. And you do the most sensible thing any sensible person will ever do, right? You start off heading into a rank match. I don't know why you do it, but you did it anyway.
5 minutes later.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And yes, today we're talking about crush counter slides, particularly Vega's and Young Zeku, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who actually suffers mental damage every time he gets crush countered by one of those, right? Now, before we get into why they work and why they're actually so good, let's start first addressing something called the active frames. When you attack someone in a fighting game, your character extends a hitbox, right? So let's say for example here Ken is using his standing heavy kick. As he is swinging his kick, there are a number of frames at which if that kick contacts the opponent, they will get damage. And that duration is called the active frames. It's pretty much how long the kick is out there for. And the more active the attack is, the better. It's out there for longer, so you have a bigger window of hitting the opponent. Now, another really important element to Street Fighter V that you need to understand to get the full picture is that Street Fighter V has something called priority system. It pretty much means that if a heavy normal made contact with a medium normal, both of these attacks are active at the same time. The heavy normal will beat the medium, and of course both of them will beat the light. If the attacks of the same strength collide, a trade will happen. Right, with that in mind, now let's take a look at some of the other crush counter moves in Street Fighter V. For starters, let's take a look at Ryu Sweep. Everyone loves Ryu Sweep, right? Ryu Sweep is 7 frame startup, and it is active for 2 frames. It means that it takes 7 frames for the move to come out, and it is out there for 2 more frames. By Street Fighter V standard, I would say this is pretty much average. Most moves in Street Fighter V have 2 or 3 active frames. Now obviously we can't talk about crush counters without mentioning the mighty Bison. So let's talk about his Psycho Axe, down forward heavy punch. This attack is 18 frame startup, and it's out there as an active attack for 3 frames. So the Psycho Axe, the mighty Psycho Axe, have 3 active frames. Let's now talk about Vega Slide so we can put things into context. Vega Slide is a 9 frame startup heavy low attack with 9 active frames. Remember that most attacks in Street Fighter V are active for 2 and 3 frames. So he is swinging at you with an attack that have 9 active frames and have heavy priority, right? So it's very easy for Vega to catch something because the window is gigantic. Vega getting crush counter sweep is pretty much the same as landing headshots with Hanzo in Overwatch. It's just gonna happen.
You are nothing.
Now Vega and young Zeku, both of these characters are really fast and they are really buttonsier. They have really good pokes, so they will be poking at you a lot. You will try to swing back at them with your cute little 2 and 3 frame active attacks. They slide with their 9 and 8 frame active slides. Obviously they have very high chance of beating your moves. Now before we talk about the risks of these attacks, let's first talk about the reward, right? First, let's talk about the immediate rewards from landing these crush counter sweeps. The setups. So as you have just seen, the immediate rewards in terms of the setups and mix-ups can actually be quite powerful, but what's even more powerful is the mental damage that these attacks do. Let's say that Vega decided to slide or young Zeku decided to slide. If they happen to land this on hit, they get a okay situation, they get to pressure you immediately. If they happen to land it as a crush counter, they get a setup just like you've seen, and if they happen to get blocked, they will get full combo punished. These attacks are very unsafe, and that's what makes them quite YOLO, right? Is that if they happen to get blocked, they do get punished heavily. Now these attacks are also very fast in terms of startup. We're talking 9 or 10 frame startup, so they're not really reactable. You're not gonna block a Vega slide on reaction, you pretty much have to read it. Now the strength of these attacks is that even if you happen to block and punish them, you now as the Vega opponent have registered that this Vega loves to slide. So from time to time, or most of the time even, again, this is what some players do, is that you will start crouch blocking, right? And now, like I said previously, Vega and young Zeku have extremely fast walk speeds and really good pokes. So you will be sitting there ass on the ground while Vega is running circle around you, have the ability to dash in and pressure you, poke you from far ranges with his pokes, jump in on you and all of that, while you are sitting there worried about the slide. What's really powerful about it is that it's a conditioning tool that works even if it happened to get blocked, and honestly I do think that is very powerful. Now obviously they carry massive risks, and the skill of playing these characters is knowing when exactly you can get to use them at the right moment to catch the opponent off guard and reduce that risks. And that is pretty much it for today's video. Obviously really interesting attacks and really powerful as well, but they do carry a big risk. So you have to be careful if you are a Vega or a Zeku player. Don't get too predictable with it, but certainly use it. I do think it's a risk that worth taking. The risk reward I think pretty much evens out. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. Let me know your thoughts about this new style, whether it's something that you enjoy or not. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page and the Discord server page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.